and this is the nuts and bolts of social media. We're going to cover a few of the current social media platforms today, and I advise you to think about which ones are most appropriate for you to use, and hopefully Facebook is one of them because Facebook is huge, right? It's bigger than any of them. So just relax and listen and get a sense of what you're interested in. About me, I am a recovering Search Deadly web designer. In 1998, I began my professional practice as a web designer in Santa Fe, and all my websites were brochure websites where you would have to give somebody your business card for them to find your website, or they would have to see an ad, you know. So I did learn about search engine optimization, thank goodness, and I started applying these techniques to my jobs, and they worked, and I wrote a book about it, basically focused for freelancers. And it's an ebook called the Keyword Tutorial Ebook, and it won an award, and it's still selling, and it's still relevant. I wrote it in 2007. There are a couple little updates I send in an email when people order the book, but it's still very valuable. If you're a freelancer and you would like to have a website that Google can find, I recommend that you go to my website and click on the award-winning ebook link. So now my websites almost all land on page 1 of Google after a certain time, depending on the level of competition. Certainly the freelance locally competing websites do. And then the others, it depends on how heavy the competition is and how much time the owner of the website is willing to spend doing some of the things I'm teaching you here today. And also there's another web video, YouTube video on my web marketing buffet, which is very useful for increasing your ranking in Google. My mission today is to move you from being any of these things you might be in relation to social media marketing to more hopeful. And even if you're already hopeful, I think you will like this presentation because I've kind of chunked it down so that these are digestible pieces of action that you can take in each of these mediums. And the history of web marketing, I just wanted to share a little bit. Web 1.0, the platforms you see here, were basically the first wave of internet browsers and businesses, and they were all publishing businesses. In other words, the user could publish their information on these platforms, and then the viewer would consume it. And then Web 2.0 came along, and Facebook and LinkedIn, for example, are good examples. They require the user to provide the content, and interactivity was built in from day one. So these new companies were built from the standpoint of interactivity and user involvement, which is very different than the way the Web 1.0 companies were built. And of course now they're trying to retrofit into Web 2.0, and then they're all trying to retrofit into Web 3.0, which is mobile, the mobile world, which really isn't the web world. It's not web. And I was inspired by this article to do this slide, and I recommend that you read it. It gives you a great perspective, a bigger picture. Even if it's not true that Google and Facebook will disappear in 5 years, which sounds like an exaggeration to me, still at the speed things are going, you never know. So I recommend that you watch this video about social media, and you might find it pretty stunning, even though it's a little bit old, 2011, depending on when you're watching this movie. It still gives you a good sense of social impact, the social media impact on our communications in our lives. So, just like web marketing, social media marketing is based on building trust. It's really not about selling. I mean, what you're doing as a business on social media is sharing information in a way and supporting other people in a way that improves, increases your visibility and your professional standing. It improves people's trust in you, and it improves their sense of who you are and your professionalism, right? And at the end of the flow of that trust is the buying. And as a business in social media, you absolutely want to share. You want to share the backstory about your business. You want to share what you're doing and what's new and your accomplishments. But you have to make it sticky and make it interesting for people to stick around, and you need to ask questions. We'll talk more about questions later. But you have to listen to the answers of your questions and then respond to the answers and to what your clients are saying. Reward people who take advantage of your social media platforms with discounts. Maybe somebody likes your page and they are entered in a drawing to win something. We'll talk more about that later. And you want to be demonstrating your know-how online. That's really it. You want people to be learning all the time about, how much you know. At least you want your posts on social media to be helping people learn things they need to learn and appreciate your know-how. I thought this slide was interesting. It's on jeffboulis.com, and you can see the market share that Facebook has and YouTube has, say compared to Twitter. Now that was a year ago, so probably Twitter is getting bigger, but I just thought this was fascinating. I had no idea. I thought it was a much more even than this. YouTube I knew was huge, but I didn't realize how Facebook was completely overwhelming the competition, basically. So we will be just touching the tip of the iceberg about social media marketing. So we'll start with Facebook. It's the big dog, and on Facebook, you can have a personal profile and you can have a page for your business. This is my profile and my page. And Facebook has a wonderful help menu. Just go to the bottom of any Facebook page and click on help, or go to facebook.com/help. And this is a good example of why a page is a better solution than a personal account. I mean, you really want to have a page if you're a business. And in order to have a page, you have to have a profile. So first you create your profile, and then you create your page, or more than one page. And what I love about pages is you can assume the identity of your business while you surf Facebook. And you can be liking and commenting from the standpoint of your business. And then all your links go back to your business page, and you're taking advantage more of the business presence on Facebook. So facebook.com/help, as I say, is a great place to go. And they have a section on advertising and on business pages. So you can go right there and learn a lot. And once you go to the Facebook pages, here's the URL for that, facebook.com/pages/create.php. You have to choose what the category is of your page. And I don't think they let you change that later, so you want to think pretty carefully about choosing your category. And then it walks you through how to build your page. It's very intuitive, very easy. And you want to do as complete a job as you can with a banner photo. They have these big banner photos now available. Not the photo you choose should be your own, but they have a slot for a big banner photo on your page, which is a really nice thing. And you want your profile to be completely filled out with a photo of for your business page, you might want a photo of your logo. So then a lot of people are interested in having a Facebook business account without having a profile. And you can do that, all right? And then you can avoid all the, personal stuff on Facebook. And that has huge appeal. Problem is, it also has huge problems. You won't be able to, if you get a business account without a profile and you don't have a page, right? And the only kind of business account, so to speak, that's available is just by itself. It's kind of an island on Facebook. You cannot view the profiles of your users, and you cannot be found in search or receive friend requests. So it's kind of, I don't get it. I mean, I suppose if you really didn't need to be building your presence, you might do it, but then why would you do it? So I'm confused by this. And so I say, meh, skip it. Get a page. And here's a good example of a Facebook page. Destiny Allison is a local Santa Fe icon, businesswoman of the year. I think she was voted. I'm not sure if it was the chamber who did that, but she won. And 2011, I believe. She is a metal artist, and I made a website for her a long time ago, and it paid for itself within a month because people searching for metal art found her while they were in town. And she read my book on the keywords, and it kind of stimulated a whole new approach for her in terms of the internet. And she has flown way past me in the social media marketing in terms of Facebook. And she has a wonderful page for her new book, which is called Shaping Destiny. And you can see here that I was able to post on her page. I've liked her page, and I posted as my business, Santa Fe Web Design, and telling her, well, I was so glad we got to talk, and I'm going to share her Facebook tips on this talk. So she posts updates about her talks. You know, she posts events. We'll talk more about that. And one thing she did, which I thought was cool, was an ad, right? So she paid $200 to Facebook to have an ad for this book. And you can see by the text that she's basically trying to get people to like the book page. She's not even really pushing to sell the book. She's saying like the page and enter to win a free Kindle Fire. So she and her husband had some credit for a rewards program at Office Max or Depot, not sure. And they got a Kindle Fire, and they're offering it to like a raffle for those who have liked the Facebook page. Okay. Now, one of the great things about Facebook ads is that you can target your audience. And she targeted women who are interested in the arts and interested in creativity. She could have targeted a certain age of women and location of women, and you can do that with Facebook ads, which is cool because then you're not paying for your ad to show up in useless places. You want to target your ideal customer and then have the ads only show up there. So she got, I think, 1,000 people to apply to wanting to win the Kindle Fire and liking her page. And she's sold a couple hundred books in the first 2 months. I think it's even less than 2 months since it came out. So she is finding this to be an extremely helpful thing, and I thought it was very clever the way she wrote her ad, offering for people to win a free Kindle Fire. So I want you to keep that in mind. You do have to give to get now. You can't just ask people to come. You have to give them a reason to come, okay, to your page, to sign up your mailing list, to visit your website, to go to your Facebook, page. So take this seriously and think about it as a possibility for you, Facebook ads. So a couple other stories that Destiny told, which I loved. Somebody out there in the world was recommending her book to someone, and a woman bought the book and read it and went to Destiny's gallery page and posted on the gallery page that the book changed her life. So this woman who read the book is a Facebook person, right? She didn't look on the web. She would have found Destiny right away, but she just found Destiny's Facebook page. And she didn't actually find the book page. She found the gallery page, but it doesn't matter. She started engaging with Destiny, and Destiny responded. And it's just wonderful to have a Facebook presence, considering the people who are Facebook users, right? They may just look in Facebook. They may not look anywhere else. Oh, another story. So Destiny was searching for herself in Google, and she found that someone had been talking about her book. And they had mentioned it on Facebook and Twitter, and so Destiny started following this woman on Twitter and responding in Facebook. And as soon as that happened, this woman suddenly had a relationship with this author who she was so impressed by, and her posts went through the roof. She started posting a lot on her blog, and she has something like 20,000 followers on Twitter. And so they formed a relationship, this woman and Destiny. And now this woman in California is trying to arrange a California book tour for Destiny. So, I mean, it's hard to understate how much you can get out of Facebook if you take advantage of it in these ways. Now, this is a confusing subject. Last year, if you go to this website and this infographic, Kissmetrics, you will see that they're recommending half a post a day, meaning one post every other day on Facebook to maximize your likes. And then I was thrilled. Needless to say, I was thrilled to read this because, you know, who has time to be posting all the time to Facebook, right? So I have to say my bubble was burst when I went to this webpage and actually downloaded a HubSpot book that is about Facebook pages for your business. And they're saying that because of the new algorithms, you have to post more than, you have to post a lot during a day. So I was very frustrated when I read this, but then I realized, you know what? This company is basing part of what they're saying on their own experience of posting every hour. Excuse me. And they have a huge audience, right? My clients in Santa Fe don't have a huge audience. So it might not be necessary to post this often. In fact, I personally block people that post that often. I don't know about you, but I do not want to see 12 posts a day by the same person. And I will take them off my feed because I want to see a variety of posts. So, you know, you kind of have to gauge your audience about this, how often to post. So events. Destiny creates events for every gallery event. She's, she owns at La Tienda El Dorado with her husband Steve Ewers, and which is a shopping center outside Santa Fe. And they have galleries there, and they have all kinds of events, and they post their events. They have a Facebook page for La Tienda El Dorado. They have a Facebook page for her book, and for herself as a metal artist. And so they can post events and invite their friends, and I'll show you what that means in a minute. But so she said when she creates an event via Facebook and invites her friends, she has like 20 people sign up to join within the first half hour, and it's a full house. If she only uses her email newsletter that goes out to 1,500 people and a calendar listing, she might get 10 people. So that's the impact that Facebook events has having on her business. And I took that very seriously. And I instantly created an event for these talks that I'm giving this spring of 2012. And I went to the help menu to learn how, facebook.com/help. And they tell you how to do it, and I did it. And then I clicked on invite friends, and I've kind of blurred out my friends, but you go through that and you select the friends that are appropriate to invite. Now Destiny said she's very careful about this. She doesn't just pick everybody. Because you don't want to overwhelm your friends, and you don't want to turn off people, who aren't going to attend your event because they're in Australia. They don't live in the United States even, much less your town. So or for whatever reason they might not be interested, you want to leave them out of the invitation and just be sensitive to who you invite. And so I did, and I had some people attend my event because of it. I'm not a Power Facebook user at all. My schedule is completely full with designing websites, but I want to learn about this because my clients need it more than I do. And who knows, maybe my use of it now, as Destiny said, will be necessary for the future of my business, even if right now it's not necessary for my business. So I am trying to be more consistent with it. And so the event did pull some people into my talks, and I'm fascinated by this as a new technique. And so questions. Destiny, on one of her pages, I think it was her book page, asked the question, I think it was in a poll format, what is harder, being a wife, a mother, or neither? And one of her readers was like curious about, what do you mean neither? As if that wasn't in her thinking. And they had a great conversation about how Destiny feels about how being neither can be culturally unacceptable, and how that feels, even though she's both, but she's sensitive to this. And it started a wonderful conversation, and this woman bought her book. So questions get people involved. And I thought, okay, I'll give it a shot. And I created a little poll. And I did not invite my friends because I had just invited my friends to my talks, and I didn't want to overdo it. So I didn't get that many results, but it's interesting. But it was instantly, yeah, so that's where you go. If you go to facebook.com and you want to ask a question, you don't go to your profile, you don't go to your page, you go to facebook.com, the main timeline, and you click on Ask a Question. And then you can invite your friends, right? And I'd say if you're not going to invite your friends, don't bother, because you won't get as many, people participating. So instantly my little poll showed up on the Facebook feed. And I wanted to just show you something that I personally needed to learn, because as I said, I do not like seeing multiple feeds by the same person in one day. I mean, lots. So what I found I could do is go to that friends page and roll my cursor over friends, and then deselect show in newsfeed. So it's always selected by default, and then if I click on it again, that check mark goes away. And so this way you are hiding that person's feeds without upsetting them, because they're not notified that you have hidden them from your feeds. So without Facebook, you really are missing out on an opportunity for a lot of information, gleaning information about your clients. And in my opinion, don't overdo it. Now, if you're a big company and you're competing with big companies, probably post a lot more often, and this may change tomorrow, but this is just my feeling, and it's a personal feeling. I'm not a social media marketing expert. This is my disclaimer right now. All I do is build websites from scratch that are socially integrated, update friendly, and search friendly. So, but this is my personal opinion. Don't overdo it. So let's move on to Twitter. I think there's these stats are a little old, but doesn't matter, because they're talking about old numbers. And I think it's fascinating to see how much it's grown. And I don't know what it is right now in May 2012, a year later, but it's got to be huge. So to sign up for Twitter, all you do is go to twitter.com. And it's so obvious what to do. You just sign up. And then you have your Twitter feed. Now, you will be choosing a name for your channel. I chose mine years and years ago, so it probably wouldn't be the one I would choose today, but I chose Keyword Hope. Keyword Hope is my Twitter channel, and if I were doing it today, I would do Santa Fe Web Design, because you would like to use keywords that people are searching for, even in your Twitter name. And so here's the feed that you would see. I did a custom background image on my Twitter page, and you can do that too. And if you want to use Twitter for business, I recommend that you go to this URL and study it and take advantage of it. Now, one thing I have done is sign up with Hootsuite, and it lets me manage Twitter and post to Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook all at once if I want to, which I do. But also it lets me easily manage Twitter. And what I've done here is create a list, a Twitter list, that shows me only the feeds that mention my name, that mention Santa Fe Business, and mention Santa Fe Web. And so I found that people were mentioning my talks, and I had no idea. So I got to click on the link to their mention of my talk and engage with them, which was really cool. I just didn't really realize I could do this. So I also have a list for one person, because John Jantsch of Duct Tape Marketing is my favorite marketer, and he posts all the time, and he tends to overwhelm the other Twitter feeds in my experience. So I just put him as a separate list so that I can just look at what he's saying, because I'm interested, because he's great. So I recommend that you do that. And I'll be talking more about automating Twitter later. And if you don't have Twitter, you do miss the opportunity to respond in real time and learn what your customers think of you and your competition, what your prospects want, and potential sales that you can get from these interactions. And you build your reputation on Twitter too by sharing the information that you know. I do this, and it does help. LinkedIn, we're not going to go very far with, even though it's important. And I'm just doing a few slides on LinkedIn today just to try to keep this talk under control. And this infographic I found very interesting, which was how many members there are, 135 million in November 2011, and how it is about business. That's what I like about LinkedIn. See, Twitter and Facebook both have a personal component. People use it for both, or sometimes just for personal. So it can be kind of murky and muddy, and you have to try to work at separating out the business from the personal, right? LinkedIn is just business, and I find that very refreshing and useful. This was a continuation of that infographic that you just saw, and it shows that 18.4 million people got their latest job via Facebook, and 10 million via LinkedIn, and 8 million via Twitter. So this ratio is so different than the actual social usage of these platforms. But for people finding jobs, Twitter's big, and LinkedIn is really big, and Facebook is huge. So people are actually finding jobs via these platforms. So to join LinkedIn, you can go to this URL that you see here, and it's so intuitive. You just fill out the forms and go ahead and log in. And you want to complete your profile on all of these platforms. You don't want to leave your profile uncompleted. You want to definitely have a picture. And in LinkedIn, you can recommend people. So if you've worked with somebody and you can give a good recommendation on LinkedIn, that's a fantastic use of LinkedIn, because the people you're recommending appreciate it, and it builds your goodwill in the community, and it helps the people that you're helping and get work, and then they really appreciate you, and that spreads. So leading or joining a group. I've not led any groups, and I think it's great if you do. But I'm joining groups, and I'm getting work from them, and I recommend it. You do too. So Jason Falls was recently interviewed in John Jantz's Commit to Act interview series, which I'll share more about later. And so this is May 2012. There are a bunch more videos that John Jantsch is going to do in this series, which costs $5 to join. So if you're catching this now, in May 2012, I would say join up right away, and I'll have a screen for that. $5 for all of them. And what Jason does, which I thought was interesting, is he uses the private messaging function in LinkedIn a lot, and he sends little notes to people, and it forces a personal conversation, and he does, really tasteful notes that are sensitive to what the person he's writing to is doing, and recommends a meeting if there's something of value that Jason has to offer, and that's when he messages them. And he can do as many as 3,000 of these in a month, and he recommends that, and not to do group messaging, which I don't even know if you can do on LinkedIn, but to do it one by one, and he gets work from that. So these are my LinkedIn groups, and I do get work from them. For those people in Santa Fe, I recommend joining Friday Networking Lunch. It's a great group that meets. You get to go for lunch on Fridays, and you are put with 3 other people at restaurants in Santa Fe, randomly selected, and the people are randomly selected. So every Friday you're sitting with 3 people and yourself and chatting and networking. I think it's a very lovely way to have a networking group. And so all these groups have been useful for me. What happens is you get emails when there's discussions on these, and you can kind of scan through them and engage with them, right? And so I've answered a question today on a post in one of these groups, and you can just sort of slowly build up your presence that way. So without LinkedIn, you miss the opportunity to have an online business networking environment. And it's pure business. That's what's so wonderful about LinkedIn. You don't have to worry about the personal detritus that can infiltrate Twitter and Facebook. So if you have questions about LinkedIn, I recommend that you go to LinkedIn's help function or just Google, whatever your question is. Now, Google Plus, I'm not going to spend much time on, except to say that it grew faster than I think any other social media platform ever. And I don't know if I doubt that it's growing at the same speed that it did at the very beginning. This video is hysterically cute and funny, and I would just watch it. And once I watched it, I joined. And I think that the point it basically makes is that even if Google Plus isn't terribly active now, as Google Plus integrates with all of its other functions that we do use, we'll be sharing what we're doing with our Google Plus community much more easily and naturally. So to create a Google Plus account, just Google create Google Plus account, and depending on whether you already have a regular Google account or not, which I recommend that you do, and it's free, I would say you'll follow the instructions, and it's very intuitive and very simple. And they have see what's new, they have a tour you can take, and just go ahead and learn about it so that you can get started. It's not complicated and it doesn't take long. But what you want to do is find people to put in your circles. And this is so funny. I made this slide last year, at which time I didn't know Polly White. Now we work together, and it's not because of Google Plus, but I was looking at this slide going, oh, I'm working with Polly. So what you want to do is search from within Google Plus to find people that you can connect with. And so I searched for the phrase Santa Fe business. And then I put the word site : plus.google.com. plus.google.com. So basically you're searching within Google Plus for anybody who's talking about Santa Fe business. So if you wanted to connect with people who are talking about the college you're in, or the business you're in, then you can put that phrase in and then use the word site : plus.google.com. In fact, you can search any site, and I do this almost every day, where I search within sites using this function that Google offers. You just put your phrase and then site : and then the URL. So I found Polly, and we hooked up on Google Plus. So it's good. It's a good way to find people to add to your circles. So these are my circles, and basically you'll be dragging people from the area above this screen in your Google Plus account to various circles. And the one nice thing about Google Plus is that you can have people in more than one circle, and then you can address people in a particular circle so that you're not addressing everybody, because not everything is appropriate for everybody. And that's what makes Google Plus, I think, easier and special. It allows you to approach people based on their list that they're in, the circle that they're in your Google Plus account. And you can just post just like you would on Facebook, or Facebook in particular. And so I posted a link to my recent talk, and just shared it publicly. Very easy. So, like I said, the thing you have to keep in mind about Google Plus is that it's inevitably gonna be integrated with all the other apps that it has that we use. So I noticed, for instance, that I posted a YouTube video yesterday, and I could create a hangout around that video, a Google Plus hangout. I haven't done that yet, but there's a button. So Google is integrating into Google Plus into all of its other apps. And that's why we're going to be using it, because it's going to make it really easy for us to communicate within Google Plus about what we're doing in our other Google apps. So YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, and I recommend that you watch this video. We actually, if you watch the one that I was sharing with you earlier, this is the same. It's just a slide from that same video, but it's great. It's great. I love YouTube. This is one of the things I do the most. Every time I create a website in Joomla, I create a tutorial video, maybe not every time, but most times, and so that my client can learn how to update their website, and I upload it to YouTube, and I do it in a way which will help other people, not just my client. And of course, I do it in a way which doesn't give away private login information or anything like that. And I have now over 100,000 viewers. That happened last week, so that was pretty exciting. And what you do to start using YouTube is you do something called creating a channel. It's just your YouTube account. And you want to name it something good. And just like Twitter, I did this years ago when I used the keyword hope. And I've kept it. But if I were doing it now, I would use the phrase Santa Fe Web Design as my YouTube channel. So I recommend that you use keywords in your YouTube channel as your YouTube channel. So if you're a Santa Fe jeweler, you might want to have youtube.com/Santa Fe jeweler or jewelry, Santa Fe jewelry as your YouTube channel, right? And every time you do that, you create a channel, you now have a new presence and you can attract people from within YouTube. And there's so many searches in YouTube, right? So you have a whole new platform when you created a YouTube channel. And when you upload your videos, you're not having to put them on your server. So you upload them to YouTube and you can get the embed code, put them in your website. It's not loading down your server where you have your website. And when you back up your website, you're not having to back up all these videos, okay? Which is a huge time saver. YouTube makes it super easy to embed videos into your website. Really easy. And you can monetize your videos with ads, which I'm doing now, and I'll show you more about that in a minute. So when you sign up for YouTube, I would say just Google the phrase sign up for YouTube and you will find this page and it'll walk you through it, and it kind of depends whether you already have a Google account, because Google owns YouTube, or not, and then you just follow the links and you go ahead and create your account. Now one of the big questions I get is how do I prepare my video for YouTube? And my strongest recommendation is just to take your video and upload it and see what happens. If it works, great. Because many people get stuck, oh, is it the right format? Is it the right size? Is it the right frame rate? Is it the right blah, blah, blah? And it stops them. And I say take your video and upload it and try it, okay? And the only other thing is if you can do it in a 16:9 aspect ratio, which is the high def ratio for YouTube, great. If you can't, like when I do a video like the one I'm doing right now for you, this talk, it's like 640 by 480, I think, because that's the keynote default. So, but it's fine. It's working fine on YouTube. I have no problem with it. But if you can do your video at a 16:9 aspect ratio, then do it. So this is my YouTube channel. And once you create one, you will see there's an upload button. And you just click it and browse to your video and upload it. And then you will it'll give you a new window, and you put the title, you put the description, and you put the keyword tags in there. So the title, if you can have keywords in your title, like, Santa Fe Jewelry Workshop, as opposed to, Pam Denlin's Workshop, Pam Denlin's Jewelry Workshop, unless Pam Denlin is a famous jeweler that people are already searching for, you would want to have Santa Fe Jewelry Workshop on there in your title to attract people who are searching for Santa Fe jewelry, okay? And then you would use that phrase in the description as well, and in the keyword tags that Google lets you add. And and boom, you've got your video up on YouTube. As I said, I've recently hit the 100,000 mark, which was very fun. And actually, this screen is before I hit that mark, and it's the analytics within YouTube. Although honestly, I'm not sure if I got this from within YouTube or from Google Analytics. But there are analytics right within YouTube, and then Google Analytics probably is good for your YouTube because Google owns YouTube as well. So it just shows you how many people are, there's a whole ton of information you can get from the analytics, and it's fun to look at and see what people like, what they don't like. It's good to just see how many people view your different videos and what they're most interested in. So there are a few different ways of doing videos that I'm recommending, and one is for people who don't want to come up with their own content and they want to use third-party videos. So YouTube lets you post a video in a way that, and by default, I believe, it lets other people grab the code and put it in their website. So, like one client, enchantmentpetresort.com, which is a dog boarding facility in Rio Rancho with a pool and just very wonderful. They were helping with their grooming to collect fur for the oil spill that happened a couple of years ago, and sending it along with, you know, maybe millions, but thousands of salons and grooming facilities across the world. So they sent the fur, and they thought, okay, we need to market this somehow. So they found this video which someone else had done, and they put it on their website. And it was very heartwarming, and it helped their brand, and it made their website sticky. So you do not have to use videos that you've made yourself. But if you want to use a video you've made yourself, a simple way is to create a slideshow. So for instance, GrowYown.com is one of my clients. They have wonderful raised beds in Santa Fe, and they ship them all over. And while they were putting our raised beds in, I took pictures with my iPhone, okay? And then I brought those pictures into iPhoto on my Mac, and I made a slideshow and picked some music, and boom, it's a very sweet slideshow. So if you're not a good videographer, you can take pictures and add music and make a nice slideshow video, which I uploaded to YouTube and put on their website. And it's very helpful for people to see the raised beds come together. Of course, we also have a lot of tutorials. I did use my iPhone in a very amateur way to take videos of them putting these raised beds together, and I did one for each little section of putting the raised bed together, and they're all posted on the site, and it's useful for them. Of course, this is a homegrown thing. You're growing your own vegetables, so the videos can be kind of homegrown. You know, if you need a professional, you would want to hire a professional to do it. But I say better have something that's authentic that you do, that's video and has that stickiness that video has to offer, rather than not having video at all. So this is what I do, is I do screencasting, like how I'm making this video. Well, actually, this is a keynote presentation that I'm recording, but as a rule, when I'm recording a video, I'm updating a Joomla website live online, and I'm recording my movements on screen and my voice, and then I upload it to YouTube so that my clients can know how to update their website, and they can rewind it and remember and so on. So I think that's another wonderful thing to do, is to just record your movements on screen and your voice, and then upload it to YouTube. And then you get to choose to monetize your video. I think you have to apply for this, and Google gives you a link, because YouTube gives you a link because they want you to apply for it, and you click the link and you go through the steps to apply, and then they approve you, and then you get to choose how you want your videos to be monetized. And you're looking at your list of videos, and you see the little green dollar signs on the right column. Those, the dollar sign, whether they're green or gray, that's where you click to monetize. The gray ones mean they're not monetized yet, and you can click on them. And you can see this video is unlisted. I did this for a client, and it's just for his information, so I didn't monetize it. He's the only one that's going to be watching it. But the videos that are public, I monetize all of them now. And the ones that are totally private, meaning you only can see it if you've been invited, which I'll explain. So when you have an unlisted video, it means there's a URL that's generated, and if you give somebody the URL, they can see it. They don't have to be a member of YouTube. When it's public, anybody can see it. And when it's private, that means you have to invite another YouTube user to see the video for them to see it. And now, without YouTube, you miss the opportunity to build your presence simultaneously on your website and YouTube. You miss the stickiness that videos have to offer unless you use videos in another way. And then if you have questions about YouTube, I recommend that you Google them. So that's it about YouTube. And I'm now going to address the overwhelm that can happen with social media and try to help you automate it a little bit. Twitter, there's this, it's like Twitter forget about in terms of me going to Twitter and monitoring the feed. I mean, I'm not doing it. Not, very much, except by going to Hootsuite, which I'll tell you more about again. But Twilert will let you say, okay, every time somebody's talking about Santa Fe business, I would like to have, every time somebody's talking about Santa Fe business, and maybe even from within this region only, I would like to get a notification. And then you get a notification, and you can engage with the tweet, right? So you're not having to go there to see when people are talking about what you're interested in. You have Twilert, which is free, give you an email letting you know when people are talking about what you're interested in. So you just put your search term in and you say, okay, I'd like you to check every day, and then you get the email every day. So these are my Twilerts, and they come to me via email, and I can follow up on them and engage as I'm interested. So yes, I recommend Twilert.com. Now, Jason Falls, I believe I was mentioning him earlier, interviewed by John Jantsch in the Commit to Act series. He spends 30 minutes every morning finding articles that interest his readers. He has a Google Reader feed. He does various searches to find out what people are talking about, and then he gathers articles that he thinks might interest his reader. And he schedules his shares, so he will share these links throughout the day in an automated way using Hootsuite or TweetDeck. And like I said, I've been using Hootsuite. So even just to schedule one tweet that's going out at a time when your European customers would be reading and you're going to be in bed, you can use it just for that. And he does. And he turns Twitter off, LinkedIn off, Facebook off while he's working, and then he just turns them back on and gets into LinkedIn and Facebook every so often, and Twitter as well, to engage on a live way. But he likes to, he calls, drip his tweets out through the day. And I found that Twitter doesn't mind automated tweets that are coming from other platforms, right? Nor does LinkedIn, at least as far as I could see. Facebook has a bit of a problem with it in terms of not putting, your post, giving your post as much recognition. And like I said, he jumps in every couple of hours to engage in real-time interaction. Hootsuite, that's where I've been going, and you get to add your Twitter, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, and then you get to post to all of them at once if you want. And like I said, Facebook's not thrilled about this, but if you're not going to go separately to Facebook, you may as well do this. And if you are, great. Just copy and paste the information directly into Facebook manually, and you may have better ranking in Facebook. So I went to a wonderful meeting called 100 Women Who Care, and we voted on a charity, and we each gave $100 to that charity, Cooking with Kids. And so I posted this to Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn all at once. And it's just nice to be able to, go ahead and post. And this is where you pick which social outlets you're using You can say, I don't want to do LinkedIn, I just want to do Facebook, I just want to do Twitter. You don't have to choose all of them. And then you can hit the calendar button and say, okay, send this out at this time or this day. So this is how it came out. It went onto my Facebook profile, it went into my LinkedIn profile, and it went into my Twitter feed, right? So that was nice for me to learn about preparing for this talk, actually. And I recommend that if you're not going to be going to all these platforms and posting, that you basically repurpose your posts to all these platforms using something like Hootsuite or TweetDeck. So automating your prospecting, what do you do if there's somebody you're friending who you really want to hire you, but you don't want to be going to Facebook all the time and seeing what they're posting? So you can go to their page. If you can create a friend relationship, that's what you need to do first. And then go to their page and roll your cursor over friends and make them a close friend. Okay? Now you can't do this with too many people because otherwise you'll be deluged with emails. Because what you really want is so here's how you do it. Go to facebook.com. Don't go to your profile, don't go to your page. Just go to facebook.com, and if you don't see close friends in the column, in the upper left of that column, you'll see a more button. Click the more button, and then you'll see close friends. And then you click on close friends, and then you go to the close friends, roll your cursor over notifications, and if it's not already chosen, you want Facebook and email, because then you'll get a notification in email whenever they post. That way you don't have to be going to Facebook. You get the notification and jump on and respond, to what they're saying, and engage, and keep yourself in their world until you have a relationship that's thickened to the point where perhaps they might hire you. And then you can add people to your close friends list. And like I said, if you don't want too many because you don't want to be overwhelmed by emails, but you want just the ones that you really want to focus on now. And I'm talking about business, of course, right now. And you want to analyze your social impact and your social effectiveness. Of course, there's clout, which I'm not including in this talk, but is important, and you might want to Google KLOUT to find out how clout sees you in relation to your social effectiveness. But you can go to Google Analytics, and if you have Google Analytics installed on your website, you can see how people are getting to your website via Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and it'll show you the flow, and it's pretty interesting. You can just Google Analytics to sign up with them. And I want to give you some resources. HubSpot being a very wonderful one. They have software for marketing, and they give you a free demo for, I think it's a month. And they're always offering me free ebooks, and they're always coming out with great free ebooks, really helpful. And I decided to look for a page where they have all their ebooks. And I found it, and I went to it, and I just wanted to give you a sense of how many there are. Now, when you go to this page and you start downloading the ebooks, every time you download one, you have to fill out a form, and it's not a tiny form, so it takes work, but it's worth it because they have wonderful information, and I highly recommend them. And if anybody uses their demo or uses their services, I would love to hear how you like it. Okay, if for some reason you can't read that URL that's there, just Google Internet Marketing White Papers, HubSpot, HUBSPOT, Internet Marketing White Papers. Or you can go to HubSpot.com, and I'm sure they have a search field too. So the other resource I want to give you, if you're watching this in the spring of 2012, is, or even the summer, the Commit to Act series by Duct Tape Marketing. And John Jantsch of Duct Tape Marketing is my favorite marketer. His book, Duct Tape Marketing, is fantastic. And he has a Commit to Act series where you can enroll for $5 and you get notification of these webinar interviews that are happening every few weeks, and then sign up. And then engage, you listen to these talks and you can rewind them because he has archives of them later and review them. And I find them very helpful. So I'm pitching this to you because I think it would be worth it. Now, if you're watching this down the road and this is over, excuse me, you can just go to Duct Tape Marketing, and John's going to have something else going on that you might want to engage in. He's always got something great going on. Now, I want to leave you with an automated vision that might help you have a sense that this is doable, and how to repurpose the information that you're coming up with so you don't have to come up with different information for every platform. So let's pretend you are a stucco contractor in Santa Fe, and you've asked Google to notify you whenever somebody is writing about Santa Fe stucco. And you get the notification and you say to yourself, okay, it's time. I need to write this blog post that I've been meaning to write about traditional versus synthetic stucco. And I'm going to go to Hootsuite, which is my place I like to use. And I'm going to post a link to my new blog post with a couple notes. And then I'm going to let it post automatically to Twitter and LinkedIn. And then I'm going to write that blog post as a newsletter, and I'm going to send it to my subscribers. And then I'm going to copy and paste the link to this blog post into Facebook. Then I'm going to follow the link that I got for Santa Fe stucco on that Google alert, and I'm going to see if I can engage with a forum or a discussion or a blog and respond. Or even if it's a news, let's say it's a news report and there's a journalist that's writing about Santa Fe stucco, and I want to have a relationship with that journalist. So I might find that journalist on Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn and see if I can follow, friend, or link with her or him, and then give them a link to my new blog post, right? And gently start to interact with them in a way where they gain respect for your knowledge, and who knows what they'll do after that, right? So I just wanted to give you a feel for how, for instance, one Google alert can trigger or domino a series of events that all work with the same information, so you don't have to be coming up with fresh information all the time to succeed with social media marketing. Now, this is a coupon for people attending my talk on May 17th, 2012. And this is my contact information. And let me know how this works for you. And I hope it does, and I wish you well and happy